How old are Gotcha and Letty? Gotcha's birthday is February 25th, and he'll be 13 next year in 2017. So he'll be a teenager. Yay! And Letty, we're not exactly sure how old she is because the previous owners didn't really know. They said that they think she's 10. We adopted her in January 2014. So that would make her 13 this January too. So they're around the same age, we think. Has Gotcha enriched your life? Yes. He has definitely enriched my life. I can't imagine life without him, even though he's bitten me so many times when I was earning his trust, and he still gets cranky and will go after me, but he knows it's naughty. I can't imagine life without him. I really can't. Without birds, my house would be clean, my wallet would be full, but my heart would be empty. And that goes with all my animals. I've grown up with animals my whole life, so I can't imagine life without him. When will Gotcha meet his girlfriend and make her hatch little Gotchas? This may come as a surprise to some, but I don't support parrot breeding unless it's necessary, you know, to save from extinction. There are literally thousands of parrots neglected, abandoned, abused, you know, thrown out every year, and we just keep adding to this problem because they are a lifetime commitment, like I have said so many times, you know, so people keep breeding into this, and rescues are filling up. You know, there's hardly any more room for, you know, for all these parrots, and I don't support it, you know. People impulse buy, they realize how much work it is, how loud they are, how they can destroy your couch in an hour. You know, they want babies, and I completely disagree with that. I will always adopt, I will always rescue, and that goes for all my animals. The idea of having a baby is a lot more appealing to some, I think, but you know, these birds deserve a second chance. They deserve a third chance and a fourth chance because they're intelligent, and they deserve so much more than that. Please adopt, don't shop. How do I control the poop population? Good question. I get asked this one a lot. Both birds are actually potty trained. Sometimes they'll forget and they'll go potty on the floor, but it cleans up easily with soap and water. I want to get a bird at some point. I know this is a silly question, but how bad do their bites hurt? Bad. I have scars all over this hand from Letty, from the beginning, you know. And from him, he's made me bleed multiple times. The bite force of a cockatoo is 500 pounds. A cockatoo this size. So they can crush bone, you know, they can open those nuts that you need a nutcracker to open. They destroy the trim around your house. Their beaks are very powerful. Yes, I've bled many times. When Gotcha gets a shower, do you use cool water or warm water? I typically use cool water because in nature, parrots aren't really bathing in, you know, warm temperatures. So a lot of birds actually like cold water, and the colder the water, the better for some. I found that with Gotcha, he likes it cool to lukewarm. You know, he doesn't like it freezing cold, and too warm, he's uncomfortable with. So cool to lukewarm water for him. How to stop them from plucking feathers? Parrots will only pluck if they're under stress, anxiety, you know, if they're left alone in a cage all the time, if the cage is too small, if they're dirty. It's a way of passing time, unfortunately, you know, so if you don't provide enough toys or activities, foraging toys for them, they will pluck their feathers or they'll scream. He chose to scream, like I said previously. You know, both are really hard to stop or to reverse. Plucking is like an addiction. It's like a drug addiction for birds, but it can be helped. You know, some birds even resort to self-mutilation after they've plucked out all their feathers, which is really sad in a case that I've seen way too often in birds, and plucking is always human error. You won't see a single bird in the wild that plucks their feathers. If your bird's plucking, you know, either they need to be out of their cage more, they need a bigger cage, they need baths, natural sunlight, or you need to give them way more toys, way more foraging things, activities to do, boxes to shred, you know, anything to keep their mind busy and to keep them happy when you can't have them out of their cage. A plucking parrot is an unhappy parrot. How long did it take to earn Gotcha's trust? I would say it probably took me to completely earn his trust 7 months. And that's just because it takes time. You really have to prove to them that you're not going to hurt them, especially with the parrots that have been mistreated and abused. It just takes work and it takes time. Doesn't it? Yes, it does. What do you do with Letty and Gotcha's molted feathers? Do you keep them, or do you make things out of them, or just get rid of them? I keep most of them. I don't keep the little tiny ones, you know, the ones that are just whatever. But I keep the big pretty ones. I have a whole tub full. He's a happy baby. He's playing by himself back there. I don't know if you can see him or not. But I keep them. Eventually I'm going to do something with them. Anyways, this is my tub. Lots of pretty ones, you know, big ones. Some of Letty's tail feathers. Let's see, the crest feathers. But I've been collecting these since I got both of them. So I've got a whole tub full. So eventually I'll make something cool. How much time does it take in a day to take care of the birds' needs? And how do you manage to keep up with the birds, the baby, the dogs, and yourself? I'm going to say it takes all day. You know, morning until night. You know, basically your job doesn't stop when you have dogs and parrots and a baby. It's just something that I've gotten used to, I guess, you know, something you make work, because I love these birds. I love that baby, and none of them are going anywhere. Do you think that you or your husband would ever be able to take Letty out for walks and riding? You know, I really hope so. In the future, we'll get her harness trained. Ollie, get out of there. You go back. Let go. That's Letty's paper. Letty's, not baby's. I really hope that we can get her used to outside, or enjoy it more like Gotcha does. But he's got my hair. You know, eventually we'll get there, I hope. It just takes time, it takes work, and she's really stubborn, so hopefully next spring she'll be harness trained, and we'll go outside with her just as much as we go with Gotcha on our walks and stuff. What made you want/get birds? I've always wanted birds, you know, since I grew up with them, kind of in my home and all that kind of stuff. I've always wanted to adopt one. Both of them just kind of fell into my lap, though. At the time, I wasn't looking to adopt. I got a message from a friend of mine that said that they had an African gray, that she knew somebody that had an African gray that needed a home, and I jumped on the opportunity. And kind of the same thing that happened with Gotcha almost exactly a year later, because I adopted her January 2014 and Gotcha was November 2014. Gotcha was in desperate need of a loving home, and I opened up my door, and so that's how I got them both. I have an African gray, and I was wondering if you use an air purifier and what kind you recommend. I've heard different things on the internet. Thank you for sharing. I do use an air purifier. It's necessary, especially with both birds, you know, and even though they get regular baths and showers every week, they're dusty and their dander gets everywhere if you don't take care of it. She's getting all kinds of exercise today. It's a Honeywell Energy Star air purifier. I got it at Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that. It works great. You don't have to throw filters out. You just wash them. So it's green friendly, and it works great. You know, it really does help keep the dust and the dander down. Does Gotcha get sad and worried about you when you leave him alone at home for a long time? You know, birds will. Birds will get really depressed if you leave them for long times. I know a lot of birds who have actually turned on their owners, who have left them longer than, 5 days. Basically, vacations have stopped since we adopted both birds, and not because I'm worried that they would, turn against us if we were to leave and come back, but because it's just, that's mad. Just because it's not really fair. We did our vacations back when we were before Oliver, before the birds, so you know, we're good for a while. And if I do go somewhere, I take them to my mother's because she's got her birds and she knows a lot about birds and she's excellent with them, and you know, she's there, and I don't like to leave them home all by themselves. Are you gonna answer this next one? All right, Letty's over it. I'm gonna go put her back. You're done. Yes, I understand. This question made me laugh because it's super random and silly. I want to know Gotcha's response to being asked a question. For example, cheesecake. Cheesecake? Cheesecake. Well, there you go. What are the main different characteristics between a cockatoo and an African gray? Plus, are there different specific care requirements for Gotcha and Letty? Cockatoos, I'm going to say, commonly compared to African grays, are a lot more dependent. They want your attention all the time. They're a lot louder. Their vocabulary in most isn't, you know, it's definitely not as clear. It's more mumbly, cockatoo mumble. What are you doing? But, you know, African grays, and like I've said with Letty in my previous video, she's a lot more independent. She's happy doing her own thing on her own cage. You know, she would rather hang out up there and play with her toys than, you know, come socialize on the ground and run around or go outside, and, you know, that sort of thing. They're quite a bit different. You know, they both require the same amount of care. They both eat the same kind of foods. Showering is regular for them, you know, 3 to 5 times a week. In drier climates, the more showers they get, the better. You know, it's better for their feathers and their health. And it also keeps the dust down. So, you know, and that's really helpful. Has there ever been a time where your parrots got seriously ill? Not since I've had them. They were both extremely underweight when I got them, but that was it. You know, I fed them healthier foods and parrot pellets. Zupreme and Harrison pellets are what? They're both recommended, so their diets are really healthy, and both of them are extremely healthy parrots. They get showers regularly. Yes, they do. They go outside regularly and get sunshine. I take them to the vet regularly every couple of months just to give them a checkup. Sometimes trim their beak a little bit. His grows in a little bit crooked, and Letty seems to not like to chew on woods very much, so hers grows, you know, and it grows really fast. So I take her in and I trim both of them, and sometimes their nails. They both have like petty perches, so that keeps their nails trimmed naturally. They're both really healthy birds. Are both birds flighted, and do they fly in the house? Yes. They both have their wings. They were both clipped, you know, for the 10 years that previous owners had them. But both of them, since we adopted them, we've let their wings grow. You know, he can fly. Both of them can fly, but the only times that they choose to fly is if something startles them. So they'll hop off their cage and fly. But that's why I always have a harness on him when we're outside, because he's been startled a few times. And, you know, he'll fly, he'll land, and then he'll come running back to me. So he knows where he's safe, you know, and he's way more comfortable with people than he is by himself. No, they don't fly around the house unless something startles them. So that's all the time I got for those questions. If I didn't get to your question, ask it again in this video, in the comments. I'm going to do more of these because there was a lot of questions. And, you know, I did try to get to most of them. But if I missed it, and if you really want your question answered, post it here. Don't forget to leave a like, you know, subscribe for more. I'm going to do more videos like this, and I'm going to get to the educational videos as soon as possible. If there's an educational blip that you would like to see, let me know. I look forward to doing another video like this. I really liked reading your guys' questions. You know, you can ask anything. If I didn't get to your question in this video, I'll try to get to it in another video. But if I missed it, please let me know and ask it again in the comments on this one, because I'm not going to read the comments from the other one anymore. So ask in this one. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like for me, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye! Say bye! Ollie! Bye! Bye! Thanks, guys.